Many small YouTube creators have been told things that might have worked for the big channels, that might have worked for entertainment style channels, but they are not going to work for educational YouTube channels who don't just want to chase views, but they want to chase a real life impact and income. So in this video, I will uncover 3 dangerous guru teachings that can literally hinder your success as an educational YouTuber. How to avoid those teachings, and the super simple formula that will lead your channel to success in the exact direction that you want it. And the reason I keep repeating educational YouTubers and wanting to make an income rather than just views is that the things I'm about to teach are really only relevant for those types of people who want to help a specific target group with a specific problem and who want to be free of this hamster wheel of having to chase viral videos or just looking at the views and nothing else. And instead, who want to focus on creating digital products or courses or workshops or coaching or anything like that to help just real people solve real problems. False teaching number 1. Just focus on getting the views. The money will follow. YouTube gurus teach you with this underlying premise that what you need is just a lot of views. It's kind of all about the views. It's about retention, about click-through rates, but basically the underlying goal is always just get more views. Because most entertainment-style YouTube channels, they make a significant amount of income from YouTube ad revenue. And that basically means they actually get paid for views. Now, for educational content creators or businesses who have to sell services or coaching or products, this is a different story and it becomes a little bit of a problem. If we just take an average revenue per 1,000 views of, let's say, even $10, which is quite high actually, then in order to reach something like $10,000 per month of income, you would have to get 1 million views per month at least. Now, if your RPM, your revenue per 1,000 views, was only $5, which is kind of more realistic for a lot of different niches, you would need even 2 million views. And even if your RPM was, let's say, a crazy $20, you would still need 500,000 views every single month. And here's the problem. Getting this amount of views every single month is extremely difficult because number 1, the effort to make entertainment style videos that get this kind of viewership is insanely high. And number 2, the competition gets harder and harder. And bonus number 3, you usually when it's about education and you teach people or you help people with a specific problem, it's just that the audience isn't even that big oftentimes. All right, now let's compare that with a calculation that might be more common for an educational YouTube channel. And it's getting exciting very fast. When there's a person teaching something specific to someone specific, solving a, again, specific problem. Let's say you're selling a program and the program is called How to Play Guitar for Busy Dads, where you help those dads learn the guitar not to become a rock star, but rather to play at the campfire, at birthdays and, just for the joy of the family. Price point for the program, $297. And the product is sold via a landing page. Now, a certain percentage of your viewers clicks the link in the description that leads to the landing page of your offer. A certain percentage of those visitors on the landing page will purchase your product or workshop or whatever it might be. And let's say we start out with a video that has 10,000 views, which is still quite a lot of views, but much more achievable than millions, right? And let's say you get 2% of your viewers to click on the link in the description to go to your landing page. That will be 200 visitors on your landing page. And let's say that about 2% of those visitors actually purchase your program. And those kinds of numbers are possible because you make very specific content only for the right type of avatar, the right type of person that exactly aligns with your target group. And if you do that correctly, there will be not a lot of viewers who don't actually fit your target group because you only talk about the things that matter to your target group. And that's the secret here. So let's say 2% purchase the program and that would make 4 buyers. 4 times 297 makes $1,188. So a 10,000 views video would have made you theoretically 1,188 with those numbers. On the other hand, if you don't have a product to sell and you just go based off of the views and the ad revenue, 10,000 views for a channel that earns only through ad revenue would make anywhere from $40 to $100 depending on the RPM. So what that means is that you don't need millions of views to make thousands of dollars, but you rather need thousands of views to make thousands of dollars. And that is even without mentioning email marketing or the fact that conversion rates can get really high if you have a very targeted audience. Now, but in order to get this targeted audience, you need to make the right kind of videos. Which brings me to point number 2. Make content that you want to watch. Now, a lot of advice about YouTube comes a little bit with this idea that you should make videos that you are excited about making. And on the surface, there's nothing wrong with that, but there's a fundamental mismatch in understanding, at least for educational YouTube channels, because the idea is that people watch your videos because of you versus because of what you're talking about. And at least for educational channels, this is fundamentally wrong. Our goal with an educational channel, with the business behind it that we actually want to serve leads to or make sales with, is to help a specific avatar with a specific problem. And our value to the viewer is us solving their problem. Now, don't get me wrong, of course they might and hopefully enjoy your personality over other guitar coaches' personalities, and that's why they pick you. But the prime goal is to solve their problem. When you start making content that you want to watch or that you want to make, this will always lead you to get away from the specific target audience and the target problem. It will make you creative in a way that is not beneficial for your business in this situation. It will also make it way more difficult for YouTube to find out who to recommend your videos to. And it also makes it extremely slow to get traction because you will end up making different types of videos all the time. And people who might have subscribed for the real sort of topic of your channel might be put off if you change topics over time. And that's why it's a bad idea to make content that you want to watch or the content that you feel like making personally. And instead, you should make content that solves the problem that your target audience has and stick with that. And don't get me wrong, I'm not against creativity. I'm just saying if you want to make creative videos and sort of live out your creativity, I suggest you do that on a different channel, separate from the business of YouTube. And the third problematic thing that YouTube gurus teach is that you need to make videos that are highly edited, animations, graphics, highly sophisticated, even in the scripting of the video, with the goal to keep the viewers hooked. And now I want to say first, all of those things obviously work. That is why those people do those things. That's why partially they get so many views. But the problem is, even though those things will definitely work and be helpful, there's more to the story, because getting all of those things right is something you could not possibly achieve as a new creator or small creator or even a business who starts a YouTube channel to make more sales. I would go as far as saying it's actually impossible to be great at all of these things from the very beginning. And so what actually happens for most small creators who hear those high expectations is that they freeze, they get sort of paralyzed. And at the end, they never even start the video or even the channel because there's just so many things to get right and so many things to think about. And at the very beginning, you might not even know how the camera works. And then you start in your mind thinking about, how can I set the right hook and how can I rehook my audience? And you think about the retention graph as you're recording the video, and then you notice your mic isn't working, and all of those things together are extremely frustrating. And so that is why this advice is true by itself, but at the same time, it's bad advice, especially for educational and business YouTube creators. When you get started, your first goal is to train the YouTube algorithm on who your audience is and which problem exactly you want to solve for that audience. YouTube needs to learn who your audience is, who your videos are for, because this is the only way that YouTube will ever present your videos to the right viewers. And here's the thing. You are not trying to entertain everybody, like Mr. Beast, for example. You're not trying to appeal to the masses. Instead, you focus, I say it over and over again, on a very specific customer avatar, your ICP, your ideal client profile, with a very specific problem or a challenge or an interest that you want to serve. Now again, think about problems to solve. Think about somebody wants to grow bigger tomatoes in their garden. Somebody wants to train their dog. Somebody wants to become proficient at Excel. Somebody wants to learn how to use ChatGPT for writing blog articles with SEO focus. Or somebody wants to learn how to make videos. Somebody wants to learn how to become a successful YouTuber. There's a million different topics and avatars that you can tackle, but you need to be clear on what it is so that YouTube can be clear on who to serve your videos. And this is exactly why you don't need, at least in the beginning, the most sophisticated editing or amazing animations flying over the screen every 5 seconds. What you do need though is you need to know your audience and you need to know their struggles. And if you know those, then you can provide value with your video, even with simple graphics, simple visualizations, or talking points, or even simple editing. Because people come for the information, they come for the problem solving, and not for the fancy animations. Now, my goal with this point is to say, don't wait until you have sophisticated editing skills or graphics or animations to start your YouTube channel. Start right away. Make highly targeted content for your specific avatar, and you will get views. And you will get comments. And with those things in place, you will have insights into your audience that will allow you to make very, very relevant content that will get watch time even without the fancy animations. And as soon as you have that figured out, soon enough you will be able to pay for a video editor to make those videos with fancy animations if you still want it. Because remember, at the end of the day, your goal is not to make the most amount of views. Instead, the goal is just to get the right people to watch. And honestly, 100 of the right people are sometimes worth more than a million of the wrong people. And that's why we can afford to not get millions of views and still make thousands of dollars every single month. You just need less views to make enough money at the end of the day. People like you and me, people who have something to teach, but they might not be professional videographers, that might not be video experts. Guess what? You don't need to be a video expert in order to make a good living on YouTube, to make more sales through YouTube, to sell your product on YouTube and change people's lives. In order to make a living as an educational YouTube channel or as a business on YouTube, you don't need to have tons of views. You should not make content that you want to watch or you want to make, but instead content that hits directly a target audience and a target problem. And you don't need to spend hours and hours on fancy editing and fancy equipment and fancy graphics to make a YouTube channel that helps solve problems and helps you make a living. Instead, all you really need to do is watch this video next, where I teach you the single most important thing to get the right viewers onto your videos.